Whistleblowing is a sensitive subject, both for the employee raising concerns and those at the school who have to respond to them. If you are a senior manager of a school or a school governor, what do you do when someone has blown the whistle? Your first concern may be to limit any damage to the school's reputation by trying to contain the information. This is a natural reaction, but it's important that you act in an open manner and take the employee's concerns seriously. It's good practice for the school to have a whistleblowing policy that sets out the procedure to be followed when a disclosure is raised. It's essential that the school follows this procedure, otherwise you could be criticised for breaching the policy. Following your whistleblowing procedure. If an employee believes that there's been malpractice within their school, they should report the matter to the relevant person. In most cases, this will be a senior member of the leadership team or the head teacher. If you receive a complaint of malpractice, you should encourage the employee to set out the details of their concerns in writing. You should also instruct the employee to keep the details of the disclosure confidential and not discuss the matter with any person other than a specific named individual while the matter is under investigation. On receipt of a written complaint, you should arrange a meeting to discuss the alleged malpractice so that the school can fully investigate the allegations. The school should not ignore an employee's concerns, and you must respond to the employee in writing. What is malpractice? Under the Public Interest Disclosure Act 1998, an employee can blow the whistle if they have reasonable grounds to believe that malpractice has taken place. The categories of malpractice are extremely wide and include criminal offences, miscarriages of justice, danger to health and safety, damage to the environment, breach of any legal obligation, or deliberately concealing information about any of these. Malpractice can be past, present, or prospective. If an employee reasonably believes that the allegation is substantially true, they can make a qualifying disclosure to the school. In the public interest. Until July 2013, the requirement was that any disclosure made had to be in good faith. The government has removed this requirement, and the emphasis is now on the disclosure being in the public interest and not for personal gain. For example, an employee would no longer gain protection under the whistleblowing legislation if they allege the school has committed a breach of their own terms and conditions of employment. This is unlikely to be a matter in the public interest, as it is a private matter between the employee and the school. Who is protected? The individual making the disclosure does not have to be a permanent employee to be afforded protection. Supply staff, other agency workers, and people who are training but not employed are also protected. Best practice is for the school to take any public interest disclosure seriously, regardless of the individual's employment status. In order for an individual to be afforded protection against victimisation and dismissal, they need to have had reasonable belief of malpractice and reported their concerns to the school. Once the school has investigated a public interest disclosure, and regardless of whether or not the disclosure had merit or was upheld, the employee must not be disadvantaged in any way because of raising the disclosure, and they are protected from the school taking any action against them as a direct result of the disclosure. A school is vicariously liable for the acts of its employees. Therefore, other employees should be instructed not to treat the whistleblower differently. This does not mean that you can't take any future disciplinary action against the whistleblower. There would be nothing to prevent you from fairly dismissing the employee in the future if it was found they had committed an act of gross misconduct, which was not related to the disclosure. Whistleblowers do not need any qualifying length of service to present a claim for unfair dismissal. It is therefore important, when terminating an individual's contract, the reasons are fully documented so the school can demonstrate there is no link between the dismissal and any previous public interest disclosure. Schools can best protect themselves from claims by ensuring that they have a whistleblowing policy in place that is effectively communicated to all staff, and that managers are fully trained to deal with whistleblowing complaints. If you need further support on dealing with whistleblowing complaints, please speak to a member of the HR team at Fusion Business Solutions Limited.